characters have always been a huge part of BioWare games, and they're also a big part of the Star Wars mythos. And so we felt that they were going to be very important to our game. And what the companion character is going to allow for is it's going to allow us to tell stories in a different manner, to allow for a player to have another voice before he makes a decision. His companion character will actually be his moral compass.
There's a lot of things that the companion characters also have their own stories, their own interests, and things that you can help them pursue. Or, depending on which side of the force you sit on, you can help them and support them, or you can manipulate them.
Are there secrets in the Seed trailer that we do not know about?
There may in fact be things that as we reveal more classes, as we reveal more about the gameplay, you'll look back at the trailer and go, oh, that's what that was. I can't say that what you saw indicates a specific playable class. In fact, just in terms of what's happening in the story there, she is supposed to represent a companion, right? In the same way that you actually see the Jedi. The Jedi there has his R2 unit that he addresses. So what's happening in the story there? She's actually working with the Sith.
So she's a companion and not
in that scene that character happens to be. Yeah.
Described the way companion characters work many times. It's the same in this. They are the lens through which you see the world. They also reflect your actions back at you. Some of the neat things you're able to do include the ability to support your companions. They're going to have their own stories. They're going to have their own quests that you can help them on.
With other characters, for example, in our game, we'll have companion characters that are there with you on your adventures, and you can have dialogue with them, and you start building relationships with them. And if you piss them off enough, they may leave and say, "Screw this, I'm out of here."
Each class is going to have multiple companion characters, something that BioWare fans are certainly familiar with. If you know Minsk and Boo from way back in the Baldur's Gate days, HK-47 from Knights of the Old Republic, we're very familiar with the concept, but it's also a concept that any fans of Star Wars are familiar with because, of course, what would Han Solo be without Chewbacca?
It's like an Imperial cruiser. Our passengers must be hotter than I thought. Try and hold them off. Angle the deflector shield while I make the calculations for the jump to light speed.
We're like, okay, well, we can't make enough companion characters, have 8 classes, have all the companion characters they would for a normal BioWare game. But in the end, it turned out we had to, because there was no other way to make the experience feel right. It doesn't make any sense for Darth Vader to be wandering around, meet up with Chewbacca, and them to go off adventuring together. It just doesn't work.
Now, can you also be pretty hands-off with your companion if you so choose?
Yeah, absolutely. They should basically be able to operate on their own. One of the important elements we sort of talked about today, too, is sort of customizing your playstyle based on companion characters. And the reason we talk about that is different companion characters may have different abilities, or I should say will have different abilities that could impact how you play either in a group or in a solo experience. So companion character may, for example, have healing abilities. So if you're grouping up on a Friday night and you're like, hey, we can't find somebody who can heal, you say, hey, that's cool, I have a companion character that can heal. And if somebody else does too, you multiply that times 2. So what we're trying to do is make MMOs more accessible to people, being able to pick up and play at any time and still have a good time.
The companions are very important to BioWare games, and they're also very important to Star Wars movies. As Greg has said, whereas Han without Chewie, R2 is very important to Luke Skywalker, probably blowing up the Death Star without him. Maybe he will.
That hit was not bad. R2, see what you can do with it. Hang on back there. I lost R2.
It's about. So, is there going to be any advantage to playing without a companion, or how are we going to differentiate companions from everybody else's companion characters? Is there going to be customization?
Sure. Oh, no. Okay, so certainly companions are a big part of BioWare games, right? And they help us with storytelling, and they're also a big part of Star Wars. You can't have Han without Chewie, etc. You can't have C-3PO without R2-D2. So for us, they're an important storytelling mechanic. They're also hopefully going to be important and helpful in your combat. But as with many of the other questions that we have here, we want to support many different playstyles. So we know that not everybody is going to be interested in having, a companion character around all the time. They don't necessarily have to do that.
Where do you think you're going? Well, I'm not going that way. It's much too rocky. This way is much easier. What makes you think there are settlements over there? Don't get technical with me. What mission? What are you talking about? I've just about had enough of you. Go that way. You'll be malfunctioning within a day, you nearsighted scrap pile. And don't let me catch you following me, begging for help, because you won't get it. No more adventures. I'm not going that way.
Additionally, of course, just to go to your other question without going to specifics, we understand that certainly people aren't going to want to see, the exact same characters running around with other players, and we'll get to more detail on that later.
Yeah, and I think just to add, I mean, people have asked the same question just about your class, right? When you think of standard single-player RPGs, people generally look exactly the same at the exact same levels, and we're aware of that as not awesome for massively multiplayer games. So we're going to make sure that your customization paths, your appearance customization paths, for you, for your companions, are going to be unique, and they're going to be a number of things that you can choose to do, regardless of where you are in the story.
Yeah, companion characters are great because they allow us to really give the players in each class more depth, almost a multi-classing system in the fact that each class has its own companion characters, and each of those companion characters not only has a great story role like you would have seen in any of our role-playing games, has their own content, has their own quests and all of that, but also brings to combat their own specific thing. So you could say, okay, today I'm soloing, and today I've decided I wanted to take my class in, I don't actually like to be up in the stuff, so I've taken my class in a more long-range way. So I'm really going to take my guy who, he's really more of a classic tank. I'm going to send my companion character that he's big, he's a tough guy, he's going to go out front. But my class also has some healing skills, and on Friday night when no healers showed up, I decided, okay, great, I'm going to lean more on my healing stuff, I'm going to gear myself up to really be the healer, and I'm going to go get my healing companion character. And now I'm a medical unit.
Absolutely, it helps us out with our goal of making sure that the Old Republic is playable as a solo or group experience, because we know that certain BioWare fans, you may want to enjoy the story and gameplay experience by yourself. That doesn't mean you're not going to see other players in the world, it is an MMO, but in terms of the story elements, you may want to experience that on your own. Bring out a companion character, they're going to help you out to make it through difficult situations, whether it's fights, conversations, etc. You need to select from one companion at any given time. So you have multiple companions available, but only one available at any particular time.
We feel that by providing the player, making the player fully voiced, all the characters in the game fully voiced, by having cinematic conversations, by allowing your choices to actually impact how the game unfolds, by giving you companion characters that you can have romances or have friendships with, or by allowing you to make good and evil choices that actually impact your character and everyone around you. That is something that's never been seen in an MMO before, and it's going to be huge for us.
Yeah, just like every BioWare game has always had companion characters, and every BioWare game has always let you go solo, because maybe you're a miscreant who hates people, maybe you're trying to go hardcore, right? You just want to say, hey, look at me, I'm going to challenge myself. Or maybe you're having a romance with an NPC, but you're also having a romance with your best companion character, and you'd rather she stayed at home.
Anyways, we feel that combining companion characters, player choice, unique class stories, and allowing players to join together in epic stories in the Star Wars universe, that we're going to create an experience like no other, and we're very excited by that.